Hey everybody, so I'm here at the community garden and I just wanted to make this little video so that I know that some of you said that you don't know where things are planted or what different plants look like when they're sprouting up, and so you didn't want to come down and weed because you didn't want to accidentally pull like actual plant. So I'm just gonna give a little video tour of the garden with my assistant Lucia and Zona. Hello. Say hello. Okay, that's pretty good. So anyways, when you come into the garden, let's go over this way. So of course, here's the door of the garden, which was broken and it is now fixed. It didn't have any like zip ties on it to like hold it close, so it kept falling down. So I put some zip ties on, so now it like easily opens and closes. I'm like really bad at taking videos, so I'm gonna like try to I don't know, see if I can figure this out. But anyways, it's like can open and close now. I don't know if you can see this.
Hey.
Anyways, the door opens and closes. And this little thing right here that's like connected to is you can like wrap it around like in through the door, and then it can like latch and lock. So anyways, that's the door. So then you get into the garden and we're gonna go over here to the left. Like right when you walk in the garden, you'll go to your left, like towards the tool shed, and we'll start over on that end of the garden. So we have over here, we have some lovely broccoli plants that are coming up quite nicely. And we won't see anything on those for quite a while. But as you can see,
We have some basil.
there's quite a lot of weeds in the garden right now. And so we've got this row here, starting with the broccoli and going down. We have these tomato plants here. These like ones that like the stems look kind of fuzzy.
What about this?
Hold on, Lucy, I'm trying to tell them about these stems. See, the stems look a little bit fuzzy and the leaves look a little bit like fuzzy and kind of like this shape, I guess. I don't know. These are tomato plants. So there's tomato,
Right here.
and then, hold on, Lou. And then there's basil. Basil is these like really like pretty shiny looking leaves. These plants right here are basil. So we have like interspersed tomato basil all the way down the line here, and that's pretty much the end of that. And so that's the end of that row. In the middle of the row is just like a giant buttload of weeds. Then these plants here are onions. These ones that look like green shoots popping up. Those are the onions. And then, whoa, careful, Zona, careful. Don't step on the lettuce. Look it. Don't step on those babies. See, those are the lettuce plants. If you can see, I don't know how my video is doing right now. And so we've got a couple of rows of lettuce. Careful, baby, you're stepping on the lettuce.
Mommy, help. There's a bee.
Where?
There's a bee.
Okay, well, I'm making a video, honey, so you're just gonna have to figure it out. Okay, so these are all lettuce plants down here that are trying to come up. Then we've got a little bit of kale back here. Let's see, can you see the kale? Am I like getting this? Yes, kale. So we've got some kale, lots more weeds. Here's the corn. Corn is coming up very awesomely. And this is a bean plant that decided to come up too. But not all of the bean plants that we planted ended up sprouting, so we don't have a whole ton. But over here we have probably what's doing the best in the garden are the pumpkin plants that we accidentally planted from when I had my my pumpkins from Halloween, and I just tossed them in the garden to decompose, and I guess the seeds just stayed in here, and so now we've got some pumpkin plants coming up. And that's like right when you walk in, right in front of the door. There's some like random tomato plants like around the pumpkins that I just left. Like again, they're like these kind of fuzzy looking plants. Like right now they look a little bit fuzzy. So these are the tomato plants that you'll see like around by the pumpkins, so don't pull those. But like the rest of this, all in here is just weeds. All this is just weeds. These are obviously the corn, and there's 1, 2, I think just 2. I think this is not a bean. I think this is a bean. So I think there's just 2 bean plants that came up on that one. And then back here, there's another 1, 2 bean plants that came up by this corn. So we didn't get a huge sprouting of our beans, like only maybe 1/3 of the beans that I planted ended up sprouting. And then over here, again, lots more weeds.
I'm just putting the stick here, just pretend like I'm not here.
These are coming up here that are the zucchini plants, I believe. So there's a whole row of these.
We also have some milkweed over here.
Whole row of these zucchini plants. This row next to it was supposed to be cabbage, but that didn't end up sprouting. So we do have some pretty cool milkweed plants. That's what these are.
Yeah, there's one over
So watch out for these guys, because they're just randomly sprouted up, like kind of in the walkway area, like by the fence, by the road. And so don't step on those and don't pull those. Those are really good pollinator plants for our monarchs, and they're also, according to Danielle DeLong, a Ho-Chunk delicacy. So we're not going to pull those, just try to leave those where they're growing. There's also a couple more over here. It's milkweed and a baby milkweed. Little baby milkweed. Okay, so then yeah, so again, like we got a couple of empty rows here where nothing ended up coming up. And then over here, I'm not sure, I thought this was supposed to be a row of carrots, but these plants ended up coming up. So I'm not sure what these are, because I thought carrots were growing here. So there's some kind of squash, maybe a cucumber, maybe I don't know, I'm thinking cucumber. I'm not really sure. So we'll kind of have to wait and see what comes of those. Then this is the carrot row. Carrots look like this when they're coming up. Like these little, oh, there we go. Like these little kind of, I don't know, fuzzy, funky looking little leaves. And they're real little right now. And they're just kind of growing in little pockets. Get out of the way, Leah. They're growing in like these little pockets. So I think that whoever planted the carrots kind of planted them in the same way that they planted the zucchini, in like little, like every 6 inches or maybe every 12 inches down, they planted like a little pocket of carrots. So for next year, with carrots, what you do is you just take a stick or whatever, your finger, and just like run it down the entire row, and like a little like shallow hole, like line, and then just sprinkle the carrots like all the way down, and then just cover them up lightly with soil, and then that way you have a whole row of carrots. So and maybe that is what happened, and they just kind of sprouted up in these pockets like this. But then we also have here, which are almost ready to harvest, this row of radishes, which are doing really nicely. So maybe I'll pull one and see if we can find one that's ready to be pulled. Let's see. Well, here's one. So there we go, radish. They're getting pretty close. This might be a little small, but we'll probably let them grow for maybe just like another week or a few days, and then people can come down and start grabbing these radishes, because they are looking pretty good and ready to eat. They look delicious. Okay, last row at the garden, there is a broccoli plant. Hold on, Lucia. There's a broccoli plant right here that's doing really well at the end of the row of kale. And we've got a lovely row of kale that is really starting to come up. These you can start harvesting these right now, the leaves off of these. So if you want to make a kale salad, throw some chopped up kale in some soups, or however you want to do it. Maybe I'll post some kale recipes to the Facebook group so that you guys can figure out some cool ways to use kale. But we've got tons of kale down here ready to go. These radishes will be ready to go in a couple of days. Weeding anytime you guys want to come down and pull some of these weeds, that would be awesome. And I hope that little tour of the garden like helped you figure out where things are, what's a weed, what's a plant. And on some of these empty rows, I'm gonna go ahead and plant some of the extra seeds that we had left over, some squash or maybe some more carrots, something like that. So anyways, we'll see you guys at the garden.